women were more persistent. Men started looking at them with respect. Although not all men, some men were treating them as equals. They were getting themselves heard. And in 1918, women were now allowed to vote. Only problem with that was the women that were allowed to vote had to be 30 and above and had to be householders, meaning that the other women above 21, were still not allowed to vote. And bearing in mind that the only women that were allowed to vote was only a mere 6 million out of the many millions of women that were out there. So although they got a piece of the pie of what they wanted, that didn't stop them and they carried on fighting.
I think that people who want equality and freedom for women can call themselves feminists, no matter what other ideas they have.
And until I began to read more about history and understand that we hadn't just been given the vote, there was a century of battle and struggle that had gone into it. Only then did I hear words like feminism, suffragist, and so on.
You can never hang back and live your life. Just as democracy tends to evaporate when you stop fighting for it, feminist gains tend to evaporate when we stop fighting.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down, because during that time they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person.
If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. Doesn't matter what they say.
Feminism is a range of movements and ideologies that share a common goal to define, establish and achieve equal political, economic, cultural, personal and social rights for women. In the UK, the gender pay gap stands at 15%, with women on average earning £5,000 less a year than their male colleagues. Going back to 100 years ago, when feminists threw themselves in front of horses to prove points, when feminists rioted just to get their points across and their campaigns heard, and when feminists were killed in all sorts of different manners, just so that women now could have equal rights to men, I feel like it's a beautiful thing, actually. I feel like, obviously, people can choose whether they want to be feminists or not, but there is only, to me anyway, one definition of feminism, and that is the women and men equality. Women being able to have the same job roles as men and be paid the same price. Men and women being able to sit in boardroom meetings discussing the same matters without there being sexism in the meeting, or the woman only being able to sit on the end and not give her opinion. I believe that feminism is a movement, and it's up to us to decide whether we want to be feminists or not be feminists. And I believe that either or is okay. As a young feminist in this society, I believe that many young people have been exposed to many things that would not have been there 100 years ago, causing a huge decrease in the amount of feminists left. For example, things like sex, body image, and men, as well as women, has caused many people to turn a blind eye to what young women may potentially face when they're older in the workplace. Some people use sex and body image to get where they want to be in society just because they see it through the media and through music videos. But is this really what you want? Did Emily Pankhurst really throw herself in front of a horse for women to really care more about their bodies than their futures?